Hello, dear participants of the international conference. My name is Yuri MASLOV, and I currently work at Belarusian State Economic University. So this little presentation of mine, or rather this presentation of myself and my co-author, who's also my wife, Marina. So this presentation is dedicated to student books, to the textbooks that we can use at university level to teach our students English, professional English, English for specific purposes. Obviously, the question is whether we should actually contribute to the process of developing new textbooks. There are lots and lots of different textbooks available on the educational market. Obviously, there are lots of books published elsewhere in the world, especially in Great Britain. And all these books are well known. They have a variety of types, and there are lots of different kinds of textbooks. And all these books can be used, of course. And if you open such a book, you see that most typically they are very well illustrated. The polygraphy of these books is also very, very good. That's why actually these books are quite good, and it looks like we don't need anything better. There are things that can take us to different parts of the world, like on this very page of the book. Both the Galapagos Islands and Moscow, Russia. Though the photograph of Moscow, for instance, is very old, though the book is new, still it works. But at the same time, I think we still need to develop our own books in each and every country, and at each and every university, it makes sense to create something else. Obviously, we are not in competition with major publishing houses based in the English-speaking world. But in our experience, we have created quite a number of books. Just these are some of the book covers of the books that were authored by me and my co-author and some other people who were actually in collaboration with me. And that's why I've got some experience in the field. And today I would like to talk about just one book. And this book is the book entitled The Language of Modern Business. It is quite recent. It was published in Minsk City a year ago. And the book is aimed at teaching university students, that is, university seniors, fourth-year students at a university which trains would-be teachers. So the target audience is this. This book is supposed to be used while teaching a course, the duration of which is about 60 academic hours, which gives us 25 in-class sessions. And why use this book? Well, we are developing target competencies with the help of this book. The major ones are the ability to understand contemporary trends in business life, that's for sure. And the second one, more of the more practical character, is the ability to use the basics of business English. Obviously, the level is upper intermediate or advanced. And if you open this book, well, like this class 2.7, which is the second part of the book and the seventh class in this very part, you can see the tasks. Well, there is actually, well, the book looks like nothing fancy. But there is one aspect of this book which I'd like to highlight in the first place. And this is the fact that this book has repetitive structure. And this structure has been actually designed on the basis of the latest achievements in methodology, English language methodology in particular. That's why, once again, I should reiterate the importance of repetitive structure of each class. So you open the book and every 4 pages contain just one class. The structure of each class is basically the same. It starts with the lead-in, kind of intellectual warm-up, listening comprehension, about 2 or 3 tasks. And this is for the initial immersion of the students into the atmosphere of communication, of talking, listening, reading, and writing about business. Then stage 2, it is language focus. We actually pay attention to the language, to the lexis, and there are a couple of tasks. Normally, they are of the very diverse character. Then part 3 comes, which is text-based activities, normally 2 or 3 tasks based on reading, and there is always some comprehension check. The good thing about it is that the students may well do this at home. That's why the approach called flipped classroom may well work here. And then finally, the most important part, which only can take place in the classroom, it is post-reading activities. Normally, there are 4 or 5 diverse tasks that involve small group activities in the first place. And this structure never changes, and it actually, the book follows that same structure from page 1 to the last page. Obviously, it is not the only thing that we can find here in this book. Again, it's important to have all the information that is supposed to be obtained by the students somewhere in one place. And that's why there is self-study material following each and every class. This self-study is, again, of very diverse character. It can be an extract from a well-known novel, like in this case, it is The Firm by John Grisham, or it can be an article, or it can be something else. So all these materials are supposed to be studied by the students, both for the sake of understanding various particular features of business life, and obviously for learning some new lexis. And this lexis is of a, let's say, of a more bookish character, of a more specific character, which is not exactly the language that is used each time, and it is something more serious. And another aspect, this aspect is that we are trying to use elements of humor all the time. And like this, if you look on the right, you can see a photograph of a product. This product is just a bag, a shopping bag. By the way, it is eco-friendly. This is one good thing. And another aspect is that it was made by a local crafts company based here in Belarus. And this is obviously something that contains a lot of humor. The character on this shopping bag is a saintly person, a woman, a great enlightener, well known in the history of Belarus. She lived 900 years ago. That's why a little bit of some humor at her expense, well, can be allowed. Anyway, it is something that is not just a random thing. So this humor, language humor, and situational humor, it is always there in the book, which makes the conversation kind of lighter. Another thing is that if we talk about business, if we talk about international business, we are supposed to go international ourselves. This actually brings us to one of the unique selling points of this book. And this unique selling point is the information about Hugh Deller. You see the photograph, and this person is a well-known methodologist who has visited Belarus and a lot of neighboring countries quite many times in the recent decade. And he is an outstanding methodologist who is well known in this country. We are proud of being an acquaintance, And that's why we asked this person to give us an exclusive interview, because this interview is, well, it has dual importance, so to say. On the one hand, it is all about English methodology. It is all about the way to develop better techniques of teaching English professionally, and it's very important for our target audience. Another aspect is the fact that this person is a successful promoter of his own books. For example, the series called Outcomes was authored by Hugh Deller and Andrew Walker, and that makes him a business person. He's not only an educator, but he is also the one who sells his ideas internationally. And this is important, and basically it is something that we can profit from this experience. One other selling point, if you want more, is ample use of cinematic texts. Each and every class ends with a task which is based on cinematic text. And this is something that is a supplementary material placed on a DVD, and this DVD actually comes together with the book. And there are 25 classwork-related cinematic texts, and there are a series of tasks. And all these texts are episodes from feature films related to this or that aspect of business communication discussed in the classroom previously. That's why they can be both a very good thing to finish classes with, or to study at home. And experience shows that the students are quite willing to do that. So each and every cinematic text is basically a PowerPoint presentation, and it looks like this. For example, this one actually is for class 1.1, the very first class of the book that deals with the history of business. The example of such history is the history of McDonald's. We learn something about the film itself, and we get some information. And then we read about the episode, actually the circumstances which precede the episode that the students are going to watch. And then comes the task, and we watch the episode. We're not going to do it now, of course, but just the idea is clear. And then we can watch again, or we can discuss it in general, or we can discuss it specifically with the help of questions. And many of these questions are already based on some specific aspects of the conversation that the students have just watched. And there is also follow-up, and this follow-up obviously is, okay, find this film, watch this film, and try to figure out if, for example, the history described in this particular film is typical of many companies, many great companies of the world. Doing all this actually, and there are lots of other things which are also important, but obviously we cannot talk about all of them in a short period of time. Well, it makes this book quite usable. And a number of teachers at a local university here in Belarus have worked with this book during this academic year. And the first results show that the book is really practical, and the book can produce the desired effect. And building competencies with the help of this material is quite possible. That's why if anybody is interested, and if anybody would like to cooperate on various other book projects, okay, we are always ready for such cooperation. And I think the future is for the books created by groups of teachers working in different countries. And this will allow for the real and practical intercultural communication on the pages of such books. By the way, there is a new proposal as well. And this proposal is a project which is in progress at this moment as we speak. The title of this collective monograph that we are planning to publish is Higher Education Pedagogy Synergy in the Making. And this is actually, this project is under the aegis of the Kharkiv-based public organization named Culture of Health. And Dr. Yuri Melnik and me, so we are the would-be editors of this very collective monographs. Contributors from all countries are very welcome. If you want any details, you can obtain these details from the official site of Culture of Health organization. And if you're interested, we will be very happy to have you as one of our contributors. That's why I think it's about time to conclude. Thank you very much for this opportunity to talk about one of our projects, or rather, two of our projects. And let's hope that we'll meet again as co-workers on an important book project. Thank you very much. Goodbye.